Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Superbike 22. I'm going to be showing you in today's video how to tackle Estoril with the Yamaha YZF-R R1. Now, I don't particularly like the Yamaha in this game at all, to be quite honest with you, at least not this one. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to get used to this bike, but I'm keen to show you how I tackle Estoril, give you some pointers, a few tips and tricks for some corners, and even some very glaring braking points for you to look at, learn and understand. Now, the controller configuration is on the right hand side. That is my overlay, so you can see how much acceleration I'm using, how much input for each button, and even how much brake is being applied in some of the most difficult braking zones. Quick recap if you're not familiar with how I have my controller set up. The right trigger is the acceleration, the left trigger to be the front brake, R1 to be the downshift, triangle to be the upshift, square as the rear brake, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Left analog stick maneuvers the bike, of course. Well, now as we go into turn 8, turn 9 and turn 10, very, very difficult section of track which we're going to spend more time with in the next couple of laps, but we'll finish this one up as a little intro and then we'll start really discussing the lap time. So into the final corner for the Parabolic at Ayrton Senna, and we're going to try and get a decent lap time to set us off here. Now, I don't think I'll beat my lap time set previously because that was on a Kawasaki, and I do feel really good with the Kawasaki's, so probably won't beat it, but we'll see what happens. So across the line, we're going to be looking for the rumble strip on your left hand side there, the curb to the left. Start braking just as you see it appear on your left hand side there. You can get a little bit later, but for now I'd rather you focus on just braking as you see the rumble strip. So now braking nice and early and keeping it in tight for turn 2. Try not to cut onto the rumble strip and try not to run it wide going onto the next rumble strip for the left hand side, because if you do go a little bit too far it is difficult and the curb can start bouncing you off, so be very, very careful there. But coming out of the Curva VIP, we're going to bring on the power here, get up to 4th and then 5th gear, but don't upshift to 6th yet, because as you turn the bike to the right hand side the revs will increase, but as the bike then sits straight the revs aren't as high as you think, so then you can actually upshift into 6th, or you can just hang on for 5th depending on how long you've set your 5th gear. But bring on the power, and just as you're about to get to 5th gear there, you can hear the bike beginning to scream. Rather than shifting up to 5th, start braking and bring the bike into the right hand side for Arella, and then go onto the right hand side here. A little mistake from me, I did try and turn in a bit too prematurely there, but it's quite okay. Change the direction into turn 10, and then we'll begin to bring on the power. Be very careful bringing on the power in 1st gear. Of course the rear tyre is going to slip, it is going to slide, so just be very careful with how much pressure you bring on with the right trigger when running a traction control as low as 2, for example. But coming out to the final corner then, bringing on the power, just gently line the motorcycle up into a neutral position so you can then charge down the back straight, and across the line it is a 135, 193, so nothing particularly special. I know I can do much better than that, but for now we're just focusing on you guys learning my lines and understanding why I choose the lines I do. So as the end of this rumble strip I want you to start braking in quite firm but not aggressively. Firm being around 70 to 80% of pressure, and then gradually releasing the trigger as you get closer and closer towards the apex of the next corner. Trail braking is key in Superbike 22. So wider apex this time for the Curva VIP, bringing on the power, upshifting up to 4th, upshifting into 5th. You can hear the bike beginning to scream or possibly just missing out. Then as you line the bike up, shift up to 6th and brake at that very first braking marker which is on the right hand side of your screen. It'll be around 150 metres marker away from the interior section of the Parabolica, so be very, very careful there. Pay attention to your braking zone and start braking calmly, collectively and precisely going into the left hand side there. So now braking into turn 8, gradually bringing on the brakes and just gently braking here for turn 9 and for turn 10. Now, something to mention with the brakes there, you have to pay attention to see how much brake is being applied. I am not pressing it fully. A full depressed position, changing direction like that will lock the brakes and send top right flying into the gravel, and we wanted to avoid that, of course. So gradually, calmly, trail braking into those sections of corners. It's very difficult. It is a very, very difficult corner to get right, but once you get it nailed, you'll appreciate the tips and tricks because it will make you feel pretty good. But braking once again into turn 1 at the start of the first rumble strip, keeping it in nice and tight, quick upshift to second and into third, stay in third or fourth. I did briefly try fourth gear, but I wouldn't advise. I'd probably stay with third gear if you can. But now braking into Lamey for turn 3, keep it in nice and tight. Did try the wide line early and I didn't particularly favour it. Also tried the wide line here, but I didn't really like that either. You can go for the wide line, it just depends on your style. For me, tighter to the apex seems to be better for my riding style. But again, 5th gear, wait for the 6th gear, brake there at the 200 metre mark. So you can brake a little bit later than that, but in fact, I want you to brake around 200 metres. Brake there, nice and firm, rear brake being applied, front brake being applied, get yourself slowed down. So dropping it down now into the right hand side for Orella for turn 7. Going to be upshifting into second here, upshifting into third, keep it in nice and tight with a bit of brake, almost too tight to the apex once again, and we're now going to gradually brake using a lot of rear brake and even a bit of front brake for the left hand side there for Goncho. So now changing direction into the S's, brake on the angle before you turn in. So as the bike moves towards the penultimate corner there, you need to start turning it in whilst braking at the same time. But the only way to do that is by braking around 50 to 60%. If you fully lock the brake there and attempt to turn, you're going to stoppie, you're going to endo, the bike's going to move, and you're going to end up crashing. So braking once again nice and early, just roughly around where the rumble strip is. You can also go for the shadow, but you do have to be very good on the brakes for that, and considering we are starting together, we're newbies, we're beginners, we don't need to be looking at trying to get the best lap time ever. I just want you to stay on the bike and enjoy the experience, because of course that is what's more important. So now into the Cura VIP, going for that wider line once again, trying it out, as we then go for the tighter apex, but I went too tight on the apex there. If you want to go for the wider line, you need to swing it out a little bit wider, but then that does compromise your speed for the next part. So I upshifted to 6th gear there to test it out, and it threw me off. Completely threw me off there. So I wasn't expecting the bike to be in 6th, I was expecting the bike to be in 5th, so I was listening to the screams, and the same could be said for here. So as I hear the bike screaming to go into 5th gear, I know when to start braking into Orella. Very important to get a feel for the brakes and the bike and the understanding of it, so do pay attention to the gears if you really want to nail that particular lap. But if you're just trying to get around the track, don't worry too much about the gears for now. There's nothing wrong with semi-automatic. So now into turn 12, a little bit deep for the penultimate corner. It is a very difficult corner, that one, to make, because if you do press too hard, you end up crashing, and if you don't press hard enough, you go wide and go into the gravel. So it is difficult, even catches me off guard, even has done in this video with the Yamaha, so just be very careful and persevere as much as you can. But across the line, back into the pits, did want to change over with the tyres. I was running the SC1 and I wanted to try something else. So we're now using, I think it's the D3 or D4, cannot remember which one it was. But definitely try each tyre out. I cannot express that enough, because each tyre can give you a different feeling. You may prefer a harder option tyre, or you may prefer a softer, more rigid tyre. It's entirely up to you. Try them all out. There's plenty of tyres to choose from. Give them a go, and let me know which tyre you favour in the comment section down below. Of course, guys, if you are enjoying the video, I'd very much appreciate you hit the like button and consider subscribing as well. It does help out the channel quite a lot, and got a lot more videos just like this one coming out very, very soon. But we're going to go a little bit deep into the Parabolica once again. You can go deep into there, but just be very careful when you bring on the power, because if you're in first gear and you're on a wide angle trying to bring on the power, your bike's going to start slipping, so just be very careful there. Upshift into second, upshift into third if you have to, and then get the bike moving. But into the right hand side, look at the brakes here. Look, a lot of rear brake, nice and firm on the front brake, but it didn't reach 100% brake there at any point. Don't let the front brake lock, honestly, because if you let the front brake lock, you're going to just throw yourself off the bike, and you've just got to be careful with the button presses in Superbike 22. As you can see with the controller overlay to your right hand side there, not very often the acceleration even hits full, unless it's a straight. The front brake will probably hit full on a straight, depending on which corner it is, but it's not going to be that often. You just got to be very careful with how much pressure you do apply, because even under braking, you can see when I press really hard, the bike starts skipping, it starts slipping around, the front gets really heavy, and you start pressing the forks too hard, the bike starts to move around a lot, and you're trying to avoid that when you're racing, or even just trying to learn the tracks as well. Another little bit of advice for you guys as well is not to worry about invalidating laps. Even I've had quite a few invalidating laps in this particular video. Yes, I've edited them out because I don't want you to pick up the bad habits. I want you to focus on the good parts of racing and focusing on the clean lines and the right amount of acceleration. Because if I'm getting aggressive and I'm trying to move the bike in ways it shouldn't be going, you're going to pick up bad habits, and I don't want you guys to do that. So I did make a couple of mistakes, pressed the brake a little bit too hard. I'm human, just like you guys are as well, but I would suggest, if you do invalidate the lap, just keep going. There's nothing wrong with just touching the outside of the apex or maybe a green line somewhere. Yes, it's frustrating to see that your lap time's gone and it doesn't matter and you might as well restart, but no. If you can get that momentum going, the concentration will flow, the feedback in the controller, you'll feel it and it'll become muscle memory. It's very important that you continue to push no matter what happens. So, little mistake going into the final corner there for the Parabolica, gently bringing on the power, third gear, waiting for the chance to upshift into fourth, line the bike up, and across the line we will go to complete today's little bit of training. So, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If it's been helpful, let me know in the comment section down below. As I say, watch this video numerous times if you have to, get a feel for the game, get a feel for the bikes, and begin to start pushing to get faster lap times. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching as always. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi! Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.